The advent of the internet in the 1990s marked a revolutionary shift in the way people communicated, the way they accessed information and shared ideas. And for many religious organizations, this presented a significant opportunity to spread their message more efficiently and engage with a global audience. However, for Jehovah's Witnesses, the rise of the internet posed a serious challenge. JW Broadcasting celebrates 10 years this month. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, the governing organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, was initially reluctant to embrace the digital age, fearing that the free flow of information would undermine their authority and expose members to dissenting viewpoints. This tension between their need to control information and the growing influence of the internet ultimately led to the creation of jw.org, the official website of Jehovah's Witnesses. And despite the launch of this site and its subsequent 2013 upgrade, the Watchtower organization has continued to adopt a defensive posture, using the internet solely as a tool for information delivery rather than as a platform for growth, interaction, or community engagement. The decision to avoid social media and prevent open dialogue on their site reflects their ongoing fear of alternative viewpoints and highlight the challenges they face in navigating the ever-changing digital landscape. And Jehovah's Witnesses have always maintained a strict control over the information their members are exposed to. For decades, the organization has warned its followers about the dangers of worldly literature and entertainment and ideas that could potentially lead them away from the truth. Publications like the Watchtower and the Awake have regularly admonished members to avoid reading materials that contradict their organization's teachings, and the leadership has historically relied on a centralized system of printed literature to maintain doctrinal uniformity. When the internet began to emerge as a major platform for information sharing in the late 1990s, it was viewed with suspicion by the Watchtower organization. The internet's decentralized nature, where anyone could publish content or challenge authority, was seen as a direct threat to their carefully controlled flow of information. Early on, Jehovah's Witnesses were advised to avoid using the internet, particularly for religious research or discussions, as it could expose them to apostate materials or independent interpretations of scripture that were not sanctioned by the governing body. And this fear of losing control over the information their members consumed was not unfounded. In the late 1990s and the early 2000s, several websites began appearing that were critical of Jehovah's Witnesses, exposing controversial aspects of the organization's history, doctrinal changes, and the internal policies, such as the handling of child abuse allegations. Former members and critics used their platforms to share their experiences and challenge the teachings of the organization. And these apostate websites gained traction among both current and former witnesses, creating a significant problem for the Watchtower leadership, when long depended on isolation from the alternative viewpoints to keep their members aligned with official doctrine. And by the mid-2000s, it became clear that the internet was not a passing trend, and the Jehovah's Witnesses needed to have an online presence if they were to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. This realization led to the creation of jw.org, the official website of Jehovah's Witnesses, as a platform to deliver content directly from the organization and counteract the growing number of critical websites. Launched in the mid-2000s and upgraded significantly in 2013, jw.org became the primary digital outlet for Jehovah's Witnesses, offering publications, videos, and articles in various languages. The 2013 upgrade saw more of a modern and user-friendly interface, allowing for easier access to the official literature, the videos, and Bible study tools. And the website quickly became a central hub for all Watchtower-approved information, replacing many traditional means of information dissemination, such as printed books and magazines.
Can you believe it's been 10 years since JW Broadcasting began? That's 120 monthly programs, These programs have unified and strengthened Jehovah's organization. In the next video, we will be reminded of some gems we've received, and we'll hear personal stories that illustrate the impact JW Broadcasting has had on the Brotherhood.
We warmly welcome you, dear brothers and sisters, for our first JW Broadcasting monthly program.
Christian neutrality.
Modesty.
Do the math.
Deal with anxiety one day at a time.
Children are an inheritance from Jehovah.
Jehovah loves each one of us, despite our appearances, our imperfections.
A marriage that has good patterns, shaped by Jehovah's principles, looks like this well-balanced family circle.
Though we're tainted with sin, Jehovah does not discard imperfect humans.
We may worry about what might seem to be big tests, only to find that they're not as overwhelming as we feared they would be.
Each individual grain of sand reveals distinct beauty. That is how Jehovah sees each of you.
However, despite the sleek design and the wealth of information available, JW.org was designed primarily as a one-way communication platform, unlike many other modern websites that encourage interaction through comments, forums, or social media interactions and integrations. The website offered no opportunities for engagement or discussion. There was no room for user-generated content, feedback, or questioning. The governing body's control over the flow of information remained absolute, with the website serving as a digital extension of the same centralized model they had maintained for over a century. The decision to limit user interaction on JW.org highlights the Watchtower leadership's ongoing fear of losing control over their narrative. The Internet's power lies not only in the ability to disseminate information, but also in its capacity to foster dialogue and challenge authority. By preventing comments or forums, the website avoids the risk of members encountering dissenting viewpoints, apostate ideas, or critical discussions that could undermine their faith. In contrast to many other religious organizations which have embraced social media as a tool for outreach and community building, Jehovah's Witnesses have largely avoided platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X. The governing body has long been wary of social media, warning members about the dangers of online interactions such as exposure to worldly influences or the risk of engaging with apostates. There is no official social media presence for members to interact with, and the organization has consistently discouraged individual witnesses from using social media to share their faith. This stands in contrast to other religious groups which often encourage their followers to engage in online evangelism, build virtual communities, and spread their message through social platforms. Moreover, the absence of a strong social media presence leaves Jehovah's Witnesses vulnerable to the influence of critical voices. As apostate websites and former members grow their online platforms through social media, they gain access to a larger audience, including current witnesses who may secretly explore alternative viewpoints. By refusing to engage in the digital public square, the Watchtower organization risks allowing these voices to dominate the conversation about their faith, while they remain confined to a defensive position. The governing body has long taken a defensive approach to external challenges, and this mindset has shaped their response to the internet and the rise of digital communication. Rather than proactively embracing new technologies and leveraging them for growth, the governing body has focused on maintaining control over the narrative. This defensive posture is evident in the way the website is structured and how the organization handles digital outreach. By avoiding open dialogue, social media, and user interaction, Jehovah's Witnesses have positioned themselves as passive participants in the digital age, using the internet as a tool for information delivery rather than as a means of community building or engagement. The internet, which could be a powerful platform for religious growth and evangelism, is treated with suspicion, its potential for fostering alternative viewpoints viewed as a threat rather than an opportunity. And the Watchtower organization has always emphasized unity of belief and doctrinal conformity. Dissenting opinions, independent thinking, and questioning of the leadership's authority are strongly discouraged within the faith. Apostasy, or the act of leaving the organization and speaking out against its teachings, is considered one of the gravest sins, often leading to disfellowshipping and shunning. The internet, with its vast array of platforms, blogs, and social media platforms, offers a space for dissenting voices to flourish. Former members, critics, and scholars have used the internet to publish materials that challenge the historical accuracy of Watchtower teachings, expose internal scandals, and provide alternative interpretations of Scripture. The governing body's fear of these alternative viewpoints has driven their decision to limit member interaction online and to maintain tight control over the content distributed through jw.org. And this fear is not entirely unfounded. In recent years, many Jehovah's Witnesses who have left the organization have cited the internet as a key factor in their decision. Online communities of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have provided support networks for those questioning their faith, offering a platform for open discussion, shared experiences, and critical examination of Watchtower's teachings. The internet has allowed people to access information that was previously unavailable or difficult to obtain, weakening the Watchtower's monopoly on religious knowledge. And while the governing body has made efforts to modernize their digital presence, they seem unprepared for the challenges that future developments in the internet will bring. The rapid pace of technological change means that the way people consume and share information is constantly evolving. The rise of artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and virtual communities will likely further challenge the organization's ability to maintain control over its narrative. For instance, social media algorithms increasingly prioritize user-generated content, making it more difficult for organizations to dominate the conversation without engaging with their audience. As younger generations grow up in a digital-first world, they expect interaction, community, and dialogue from platforms they engage with. The Watchtower's reluctance to adapt to these expectations may result in a disconnect between the organization and potential new members, particularly among tech-savvy millennials and Gen Z. In addition, the growing trend towards decentralization, where information is no longer controlled by a few large institutions, but spread across countless individual platforms, poses a serious challenge to the Watchtower's structure. As information becomes more fragmented and diverse, it will become increasingly difficult for the organization to prevent members from accessing alternative viewpoints. This may lead to a growing number of Jehovah's Witnesses quietly exploring other ideas and questioning the teachings of the governing body. The creation of jw.org was a necessary step for Jehovah's Witnesses to maintain relevance in the digital age, but it was driven by a defensive strategy aimed at preserving control over information rather than embracing the internet's full potential for growth and engagement. And the governing body's reluctance to adopt social media, encourage dialogue, or allow user interaction reflects their deep-seated fear of alternative viewpoints and the challenges posed by the free flow of information. As the internet continues to evolve and new technologies reshape the way people interact with ideas and communities, Jehovah's Witnesses risk falling further behind in their ability to reach and retain members. Their defensive posture, while successful in maintaining control over their internal narrative, might ultimately limit their ability to grow and adapt in a world where information is becoming increasingly democratized. If they remain committed to a one-way flow of information and avoid engaging with the broader digital community, they may find themselves increasingly isolated in a world that values open dialogue and free exchange of ideas.